Well, hello everyone. In this video, I want to go ahead and cover the concept of copy geometry in Creo Parametric. Now, copy geometry is a pretty sophisticated command that is used in top-down design. Now, if you don't know what top-down design is, don't worry. I'm going to try to explain it as best as I can in this video. But copy geometry relies on the idea that you use what is already there in order to help you create the thing that needs to be created. Now, to give you an idea, when you're building an assembly, you usually go from a bottom up, which essentially means that you are building things on top of each other. The parts are already made, you just go into an assembly and you put them together. However, top down is the idea that you either have a part already made like this, or you have a skeleton and you are essentially building off of that skeleton or parts that already exists. Now, the parts are being made as you go, hence the name top-down design. So in this video, I want to go ahead and lay down a very simple example for copy geometry. Copy geometry, you can honestly spend about a week or two just on the concept alone. But I want to use just this one simple example to show you how it works and hopefully start, kind of turning those gears in your head and saying, oh, okay, I can probably use this for some of the stuff that I need to. Take, for example, this piece of geometry that I have in front of me. I have a very simple cup, and what I want to do is I want you to make me the lid for this thing. Now, the traditional way would require what? Well, you might want to measure it, you might want to look at the sketch, and from there you would go and build your lid, right? Well, let's see how copy geometry would handle it. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new assembly. Now, copy geometry actually does not require an assembly. But to keep with the theme here of simplicity, we're going to go ahead and just add this to an assembly. So I'm going to go ahead and hit new up here. And I'm going to go ahead and select an assembly. And I'll go ahead and call this the cup assembly. All right. And here we go. So this is copy geometry with an assembly. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my cup. I'm going to hit assemble. And I'm going to say that the cup CG is right there, and I'm going to go ahead and just place it on the default constraint like so. What you're going to notice with copy geometry is that as you add parts or create them, you constantly put them in the default coordinate system. That is why sometimes when you open a part, the coordinate system is somewhere at the bottom and the part is somewhere out in space. That is because copy geometry has certain rules that we're going to go over in a second that allow that to happen. But as you can see, another theme with copy geometry is instead of hitting assemble, 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 you instead go create, create, create. So that's kind of a little hint of how copy geometry works. But anyway, so far we haven't really done anything with copy geometry. We've just added this piece in there and that's it, right? And so now what I want to do is I want to create an empty part file because this empty part file is going to be what houses my lid. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is a part and a solid, and I'm going to go ahead and say that this is the lid CG for copy geometry. Now I'm going to say that, I'm going to go with an inch part there. Sure, why not? We'll go ahead and hit OK. And the constraint for this is also going to be the default constraint. I can't really constrain it right now as is, so I'm just going to go with the default constraint, and we're going to hit OK. Now that we have the lid copy geometry in here, I'm going to go ahead and right click on the lid copy geometry, and I'm going to go ahead and activate it. Once I activate it, I can see that most of the stuff kind of gets faded away, if you will. But if you look over here, I can now execute the command called copy geometry right here. Now, if I hit copy geometry, you can see that I can go in there and start selecting things. But unfortunately, right off the bat, it says, hey, what published geometry do you want to use? In this video, we are not going to cover published geometry. I'm going to make a completely separate video because remember, copy geometry is a complex subject. I'm just giving you a very simple example to start off with. So right now we're going to say that we do not want to use published geometry. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. We're not going to cover it here. But go ahead and disable it by clicking it. And now you can see that it says, okay, what do you want to borrow? Now, surface sets are pretty self-explanatory. Surface sets are surfaces. Bodies are bodies. This is new, of course, in Creo, I think after 7. Chains are things like curves and sketches, and references are things like datums, points, etc. So right now, I only want to borrow surfaces. Now, at this point, you have to make the executive decision. What do you think is the best thing to borrow in order to make this lid? You have to come up with that, okay? So, if you were to ask me, I'm going to say, okay, well, maybe I need to know, maybe I need this surface right here. So I'll click that one. I'll hold the control key. I'll also pick the blend there because, I need to make sure I don't interfere with that. I also am going to pick these two side faces like so, and I'm also going to pick this top face like so. So those are the surfaces that I am going to need in order to build this lid. So before we go any further, we need to understand exactly what we're doing. What we're doing right now is we are in the lid part, and we are doing two things. All right, so these are the two golden rules of the copy geometry if you're doing this via an assembly. The first rule is it copies geometry associatively from one part to another. The second rule is that the assembly position is also recorded. So wherever these surfaces are in the assembly is exactly how they're going to show up, offset from the coordinate system in the lid.prt. So I'm going to say that these surfaces are good enough for me. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And as you can see, I have successfully borrowed those surfaces and brought them over into my part. Now, if I go over into the lid CG and open it in a new window, you can see that this is what it looks like. I am further and further away from the coordinate system. No big deal. That's exactly what I'm aiming for. And so now I don't have to measure anything. I don't have to do any of this calculation, any of the other stuff. I can just right off the bat start making the geometry that I need off of this thing. So for example, very quickly, I'll just go ahead and fill in this bottom portion there to get the bottom of my lid like so. So that's one. And then I can go ahead and extrude a piece out like so. And remember, I'm doing all of this referencing the copy geometry. So the copy geometry is serving as a building block for me. And because all of this is associative, remember what the first rule of copy geometry was. It's associative. And because it's associative, I can, of course, expect this thing to update if it changes. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to go ahead and make a datum plane for the fill here because I'm clearly missing it. But don't let the speed that I'm doing this in, make you fear copy geometry. I'm a long-time Creo user, so I know how to use Creo like the back of my hand. So that's why something like this is so quick for me. But this is just to show you that once you're experienced enough in Creo and once you get the hang of it, something like this is super easy to make, right? Now, some would argue, yeah, I could have made a sketch out of that in like 5 minutes, right? Yeah, but you got to measure it, you got to reference the model, you got to do all this other stuff, right? And even if that works, if the model changes, if the cup changes, your lid is not going to change, right? So all I have to do now is just merge all of this together, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. And then I'm going to solidify it like so, and boom. Now, if I don't know how long this took, right? If you took out me yapping, then you can probably see that this took probably under 3 minutes or 2 minutes, right? It was incredibly quick. I didn't have to do any measurements. I also don't have to do any constraining either, because remember, the copy geometry, if you use it through an assembly, also controls assembly position, right? But if I go over here into my assembly now, you can see that everything is positioned exactly where it needs to be. All right. So I have already laid out what copy geometry does. However, some people say, well, I need to see it to believe it. I don't know if I believe the two laws of the copy geometry. Okay, well, let me prove to you that the two laws of the copy geometry are true. Number one, I want to test whether the geometry updates associatively. You need to understand that copy geometry has it has three rules. I already laid down two rules for you. It copies geometry from one part to another. It copies assembly position. But there's a third rule, and a lot of people probably already know this one, but it's true no matter what CAD package you go in. The parent controls the child, but never the other way around. Okay, so whatever changes you make to the parent will automatically propagate over to the child. In this case, this cup CG is our parent. But whatever changes you make to the lid, well, who gives a crap? The parent doesn't care. It doesn't care that it exists. Okay. So, for example, let's test the first two laws of the copy geometry. I'm going to go ahead and activate the cup CG here, and I'll just make some executive changes, right? Like, oh, okay. Well, maybe the cup is going to get wider. Let's say it's going to get 6 inches wider, and that's pretty that's pretty chunky right there. Okay, maybe not that much there. Let's say it's going to get taller, right? Maybe 6 inches taller, like so. Maybe this step right here is going to go down, right? Because remember, we copied that step. Let's say it's going to go 0.5 and wider. Let's say it's going to go 4.5, right? Something like that. It looks like I have some, dimensioning here that's really screwing me up. Let's see, what's this one? Let's go and delete that. So let's say that, maybe this guy here and this guy here are going to be 0.25. And it looks like I have a dimension here that's conflicting. Let's see, what is that all complaining about? I'm just trying to make some quick changes on this thing, just to kind of show you. It looks like this 350 is giving me an issue. Sure, I'll get rid of that, right? So let's say that this is going to be 0.25, right? So obviously some pretty hefty executive changes here. Let's make this maybe 4.25, like so, right? So as you can see, I have made quite a few drastic changes. I even deleted some dimensions that I'm not using anymore. But it's not a big deal. I can go ahead and hit OK. And my cup updates like so. Now, a lot of you are probably looking at this and saying, well, Jose, you're a liar. It didn't update. Well, you got to remember that in Creo, you have to regenerate. If you hit Control G, you can see that the lid automatically updated. So the first law of the copy geometry is 100% true. That's the geometry is copied associatively from one part to another. Okay, so we can check that off our list. What about the second law of the copy geometry, which is it controls assembly position? Well, that one's actually very easy to test. If we move the cup CG, right, let me go ahead and edit the definition of it, and I just get rid of this default constraint. Let's move it over to the right, for example, like that. Is it away from the assembly thesis? Absolutely. But if you want to see if it worked, all you have to do is hit Control G. And as you can see, the second law of the copy geometry is 100% true. So both laws we just confirmed are true. Right? Now, the third law, we can't really, test too much because, that's kind of redundant, right? We borrowed things from the parent. So the parent is what controls the child, but never the other way around. So that theme is seen throughout a lot of, top-down design methods. When you start to share things from the child to the parent using copy geometry, that's when you start to run into trouble. We're not going to cover that here. But hopefully this very simple example gives you an idea of one way to use copy geometry. I'm going to make a separate video that talks about copy geometry using just parts, so stay tuned for that. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns regarding copy geometry, definitely let me know. Take care.